Welcome to the part of astrology your yoga instructor doesn't want you to know about, the cursed planets. Forget the cozy horoscopes and the love and light nonsense. These are the cosmic debt collectors, the shadow dealers, the planets that ruin your life and then hand you a participation trophy for surviving. We're not talking about blessings in disguise. We're talking about wounds in plain sight, bleeding all over your star chart. So buckle up, light a candle, maybe draft your will, because this is going to hurt Saturn. Saturn is the cosmic tax collector, the grim accountant of time, a planet that doesn't just orbit, it judges. The ancients saw it as Kronos, the father who ate his children. And guess what? He's still chewing. You think your rent is high? Saturn's laughing in the corner while slapping another lesson invoice on your soul. People dress it up as discipline and karma, like it's some yoga retreat. But no, Saturn is the landlord who doesn't believe in security deposits. He believes in your tears. You know that feeling when life smacks you in the face and someone chirps, "It's character building." Yeah, that's Saturn whispering through them like a parasite. This planet waits until you're 29, all hopeful and dumb, then swings a wrecking ball straight through your carefully crafted Jenga tower of existence. They call it the Saturn return. I call it, congratulations, welcome to adulthood. Here's a brick through your window. It's the moment your illusions get repossessed, your relationships file for bankruptcy, and your ambitions get audited. And don't you dare beg. Saturn is allergic to pity. The cursed part? It's not random cruelty. Saturn has this perverse moral logic, like a cosmic Catholic nun with a steel ruler. You earn your pain here. Didn't learn your lesson at 18? Don't worry. Saturn will gift wrap it for you at 38, with interest rates that make payday loans look merciful. Astrology bros love to wax poetic about Saturn giving structure and long-term rewards. That's just Stockholm Syndrome. If a prison guard occasionally lets you read a book, is he nurturing your intellect? Or just making sure you don't claw your own eyes out before solitary? Saturn doesn't care about your dreams. Saturn cares about whether you can crawl through the mud, bleeding dignity, still clutching your to-do list like it matters. And the worst part? He'll make you grateful for it. You'll look back at the collapse, the betrayal, the endless grinding years and say, Saturn made me who I am. That's not growth. That's trauma bonding with a gas giant. Pluto. Pluto is the underworld janitor who got demoted from planet by NASA, but still drags your soul down into therapy, whether you like it or not. It's less a planet and more an interdimensional funeral home that insists you tour the basement. You think you've confronted your shadow? Number. Pluto's shadow eats your shadow for breakfast, then mails the bones back to you in a shoebox labeled personal transformation. Imagine someone peeling your skin off layer by layer while playing Enya at full blast. That's Pluto. It doesn't just change you, it annihilates you, burns the ruins, salts the earth, and plants a garden of poisonous nightshade on top. Pluto isn't interested in your hobbies or your little affirmations about self-care. It wants your death and rebirth on repeat until you're too dizzy to recognize which version of yourself is currently screaming in the mirror. Astrology calls Pluto regeneration and power. Ha! That's like saying chemotherapy is a spa treatment. Pluto drags your traumas up from the basement like damp boxes of family secrets. Your compulsions, your obsessions, your toxic ex. You thought you buried them? Nope. Pluto is the archaeological dig site of your soul, and he's got the shovel. But here's the beautifully cursed joke. Once Pluto's done ripping you apart, you do come out stronger, or at least stranger. People who've been through a heavy Pluto transit have that haunted look, like they've seen God and punched him in the face on the way down. You don't mess with them. They've danced on the edge of annihilation and kept the t-shirt. Pluto survivors are like nuclear wasteland wanderers. Radioactive, yes, but weirdly serene about it. The demotion from planet status? That's the most Pluto thing ever. Stripped of glory, shoved in the margins, but still holding dominion over death, sex, power, and secrets. Pluto doesn't need recognition. Pluto owns the graveyard, and guess what? Everyone's RSSVP is mandatory. Mars. Mars is the cosmic bar fight that never ends. The bouncer and the drunk and the broken bottle all at once. People call it the planet of war, of drive, of passion. Passion? That's just a nice word for bloodlust with better PR. Mars is the itch in your knuckles, the urge to text your ex at 2 a.m., the little voice that says, punch first, therapy later. I swear, Mars energy doesn't just visit you. It hijacks your nervous system like a parasite. One minute you're calmly watering your plants, the next minute you're fantasizing about throwing them at your neighbor because he parked 2 inches too close to your driveway. And astrologers, those sweet summer children, will smile and tell you, Mars gives you energy to take action. Yeah, action like road rage incidents and regrettable tattoos. Mars doesn't build things. It burns things so you can pretend the ashes are inspirational. Ever notice how the most cursed fights of your life don't start with some big betrayal, but with a stupid Mars trigger? Somebody slurps soup too loud. Somebody types K instead of OK. Suddenly you're channeling a Greek war god over miscommunication and instant ramen. But don't underestimate the curse. Because Mars will not just ruin a Tuesday, it'll ruin a decade if you let it. Wars, genocides, revolutions. Human history is basically one long Mars transit, and people still try to work with it, like it's a therapy dog. Mars is not your therapy dog. Mars is a rabid wolf frothing at the mouth, dragging you into fights you don't need, and victories that taste like dirt. Here's the psychological horror. Mars convinces you that the destruction was worth it. That broken friendship, they weren't loyal enough. That burned bridge, they had it coming. You'll rationalize your own battlefield like a soldier riding home, trying to believe the mud and screams were noble. That's how Mars gets you. It infects your ego, tells you war is holy, tells you you're alive when you're bleeding. And yet, here comes the sick irony. Without Mars, nothing moves. You'd still be in bed, scrolling memes, starving because no one invented hunting. Mars is that raw, feral instinct to grab a stick and chase the mammoth. It's horrifying, but it's survival. That's the curse. You can't exile Mars. You have to wear it like a loaded gun in your chest. Pray you never sneeze while the safety's off. Neptune. Neptune is the cosmic gaslighter, the planet of dreams, illusions, and every fever dream that makes you question whether you're inspired or just concussed. Picture a magician who spikes your drink with absinthe, then hands you a Rubik's Cube and says, figure out the meaning of life. That's Neptune. It doesn't guide you. It dissolves you, like sugar in hot tea, until you're not sure whether you're enlightened or just completely gone. And let's be clear, Neptune doesn't do normal curses. This isn't the brute force of Mars or the sadistic discipline of Saturn. No, Neptune's curse is slow, syrupy. It seeps in like mold under the wallpaper. You think you're fine. Great, actually, until one day you realize your entire life is held together by lies, denial, and late-night horoscopes written by someone who definitely microwaves fish in the office. Neptune is why you fell for that scam, why you stayed in that soulmate relationship 3 years too long, why you believed that MLM pitch from your cousin who sells essential oils. It's every time you swore, this time it's different, and then woke up surrounded by emotional wreckage and inspirational crystals you can't get a refund for. Neptune doesn't even apologize. It just giggles in the background, blowing bubbles and humming whale songs. The cursed part? Neptune feels so beautiful while it's ruining you. It's the dream that keeps you warm when reality is cold. You're broke, but you believe. You're heartbroken, but you hope. Neptune turns suffering into a kaleidoscope of meaning, which sounds poetic until you're living in a shoebox apartment, chanting affirmations while the landlord files for eviction. Psychologically, Neptune is the enabler. It whispers, ignore the facts, trust the vibes. And we do, because the vibes are intoxicating. Neptune is addiction, not just drugs or alcohol, though it's got its claws in those too, but addiction to escape, to fantasy, to the idea that there's some mystical shortcut out of the mess. Spoiler, there isn't. Neptune is the mess, dressed up like salvation. And yet, as much as I want to throw Neptune into a black hole, I can't. Because without it, we'd have no art, no music, no dreams, no Vincent van Gogh. No Bowie, no Studio Ghibli films to cry over at 2 a.m. Neptune is why we imagine, why we hallucinate purpose in the first place. That's the ultimate curse. We need the delusion. Without Neptune, life is just Saturn's gray cubicle forever. With Neptune, at least the cubicle walls shimmer like stained glass before collapsing on top of us. Chiron. Chiron is the wound you can't stitch shut, the eternal bruise on the soul. Astronomers will tell you it's a centaur object, half asteroid, half comet, but astrologers know it as the wounded healer, which is basically cosmic slang for you're screwed, but you can help other people with the same screw-up. Chiron doesn't curse you by killing you. It curses you by keeping you alive with just enough pain to make you useful. Imagine being shot with an arrow that never comes out. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't even scab. It just stays there, pulsing, aching, shaping every choice you make. That's Chiron in your chart, the place where you're forever limping, forever compensating, forever raw. And everyone loves to spin this into some hallmark healing journey. Your greatest wound is your greatest gift. Number. Your wound is a wound. The gift is learning to function despite sobbing in the bathroom stall at work. What's so cursed about Chiron is the cycle of irony. You hurt, so you seek answers. You learn, you adapt. You become a walking encyclopedia of survival hacks for your particular brand of suffering. Then people flock to you for guidance, and somehow you do help them. They cry on your shoulder. They thank you. They call you a lifesaver. Meanwhile, the arrow is still inside you, twisting. You're the doctor bleeding out in the ER while sewing everyone else shut. Psychologically, Chiron is the archetype of trauma bonded with wisdom. The shadow of every therapist, teacher, healer, or artist who got good at their craft because pain made them obsessive. You think your favorite poet wrote that line because life was gentle? Number. They wrote it with Chiron's poison ink. And every time we quote them, we're worshiping at the altar of their suffering. The real horror? There's no cure. You can't fix Chiron. You can only integrate it, whatever that means. Translation, you carry it forever, like a sacred infection. Saturn may grind you down. Pluto may annihilate you. Neptune may gaslight you. Mars may scar you. But Chiron just whispers, you'll never be whole. But you can make beauty out of the whole, and somehow, that's worse than destruction. At least death is clean. Chiron curses you with a lifetime subscription to vulnerability, complete with pop-up ads for spiritual growth. You didn't ask for this, but the cosmos handed you a bleeding bandage and said, congratulations, you're the healer now. And the most twisted part? People will love you for it. They'll love your brokenness, your cracks, your resilience. Meanwhile, you know the truth. You didn't survive Chiron. You just learned to limp with style. End. And there it is, 5 cursed planets, 5 flavors of cosmic horror. They don't care about your career goals, your summer body, or your vision board. They care about cracking your ribs open and teaching you lessons you never signed up for. Saturn will grind you down. Pluto will bury you. Mars will throw you into a fistfight. Neptune will make you love the liar. And Chiron will leave you limping but inspirational. Astrology isn't just starlight and destiny. It's a haunted house you can't move out of. Congratulations, you're cursed, and the rent is due. If you enjoyed watching me emotionally combust over these planets, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment about which cursed planet ruins your life the most. Is it Saturn's bills, Mars's brawls, Neptune's lies, Pluto's funerals, or Chiron's never-ending therapy bill? Tell me your horror story. I'll be in the comments crying with you. And if you want more chaotic astrology breakdowns, well, you know what to do. Click that bell. The planets aren't waiting, and neither should you.